Israel's war offensive in Gaza continues. Israeli forces killing more people in Gaza this week. In one incident, it's reported 65 people were killed in one single incident alone. Meanwhile, some food is trickling in, but there doesn't seem to be nearly enough food for people who are still there. Thembisa Fakude is an expert in international relations. Thembisa, good afternoon to you, and thank you for your time. Israel is continuing with its military offensive in Gaza. It's refusing to allow enough food into that area. What is the aim here? Is there any military aim that Israel could point to?
Well, it doesn't seem so. What's even worse is that they're killing people queuing for food. So this is Benjamin Netanyahu kicking the can down the road and wanting to prolong the war in Gaza because he had to abruptly stop the war in Iran. Because he knows that when the dust settles, he's likely to face jail time in Israel, not only because of the current legal challenges of corruption, he's also being accused of having slept in the job on the October the 7th when the attack happened. So all of these instances has, to an extent, forced him to continue with the war in Gaza. But we are also hearing that Donald Trump is putting pressure on him to seize the war.
That would be a huge development because it's really the American influence on Israel that's so vital to all of this. They're also, of course, their main arms supplier. I mean, if Trump, and there is some evidence that Trump and Netanyahu first seem to get on and then don't seem to get on, but if Trump said to them, stop the war in Gaza, that would be huge.
That would be huge. And I think that's what Trump is hoping for. Trump has made commitments to the leaders in the region, particularly during his visit to the Gulf, when he visited Bahrain, when he visited UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. There were some commitments. So the undertakings and the pledges that were made in terms of investment in the U.S. were not made for free. They were expectations that Trump was going to force Benjamin Netanyahu to seize the war in Gaza. But we also know that Benjamin Netanyahu is also desperate of normalizing relations, particularly with Saudi Arabia. There were talks a couple of days ago about the revival of the Abraham Accords, which is the process of normalization between Israel and the Arab countries. So if that happens, it will be another scoop for Benjamin Netanyahu. At the moment, of course, is riding on a very high wave after having bombed Iran, and most Israelis believe that was a just war and it was a necessary war because Iran, they claim, poses an existential threat to Israel. So he had support, but there is no support for him, no appetite for Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli army to continue with its bombing spree in Gaza.
There have been many countries that have been lambasting Israel for this. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, he's now said that this is a genocide. As more and more countries kind of line up to criticize Israel, does that make any difference in Israel or on Netanyahu? It seems that Israel is defiant, really.
Well, they can be defiant, but this is making a lot of difference. It will make a difference now, it will make a difference to future generations. Israel will always be known as a country that committed genocide. The word genocide is now becoming synonymous to Israel. So it is going to impact. It might not impact the people who are making the decision to continue with this genocide now, but unfortunately, generations to come will always remember and will always be blamed for this genocide. So the best thing to do at the moment is, one, to seize the war in Gaza. And I think that's what they're going to be doing in the long run. I don't know when. And also to isolate Benjamin Netanyahu, because he's actually the one who's taking the entire nation with him in Gaza, and the entire nation is going to be now and forever be painted with the same brush of having endorsed and agreed to this genocide that we are all viewing in real time.
Thembisa Fakude, thank you. The international relations analyst. I really do appreciate the time this afternoon on Newzroom Afrika, channel 405. Well.